Hi everyone, how are you all doing? My name is Natalie. If this is the first time that you're watching my videos, thank you so much for being here and stopping by. I am a Western tropical astrologer and I use a whole sign house system for all my forecasts and readings. In this video, we are talking about this upcoming week astrology forecast, and we will be talking about August 3rd to August 9th of 2026. This is a pretty big week. The energy is definitely shifting, it's changing in the air. Ever since last week, Aquarius full moon, that was the last lunation before eclipse season. In my own opinion, after the last lunation before the eclipse, that lunation acts as a opening gate, right? Lifting that energy and initiate the eclipse season for all of us. And then this 2 weeks in between the last lunation and the first eclipse is where the energy start to get mystical and it start to shift. So for it, and also depending how your natal chart is aspecting the eclipse and the full moon, you might feel it more than the others. And if this is the first time that you're still relatively new to astrology, eclipse is known to be when things are a little bit out of our control, when Jesus takes the wheel, when there is a faded energy involved, and usually during eclipse season, the energy accelerate, right? Things that need to happen might happen faster. Things that you don't want to happen or you're avoiding it to happen might just happen for you because the universe is like, okay, you know what? I'm just going to help you. And sometimes it can be seen as quite brutal. It can be some sudden or unexpected ending or beginnings, you know, in certain areas of your life, certain relationship or topics in your life. This can be incident that kind of snowball into something else, you know, that really changed the course of someone's life. So it can be a lot of different things. And when they happen, it can feel like WTF or devastating, right? But it's only when you look back later on, when you reflect on what happened, you understand all those things happen is for your own good. That is a redirection from the universe, okay? So this week, it's right before the eclipse and we have a couple things happening. So let's talk about it. Monday, August 3rd, opens up with a rather tender station. We have Chiron stationing retrograde in the sign of Taurus at 0 degrees 52 minutes. So Chiron didn't even get to finish the first degree in the sign of Taurus and it's retrograding. So Chiron will retrograde back into Aries all the way to 26 degrees and 15 minutes. That's when it's going, that is where Chiron will station direct in the sign of Aries early next year, 2027 January 6th. So Chiron will slowly go back into Aries for 4 degrees, right? And station direct next year, January 6th at 26 degrees 15 minutes. And Chiron will continue to travel and officially re-enter Taurus April 14 and will never go back to Aries again. So this upcoming retrograde is the last time that we are going to experience Chiron in Aries to tie up some loose end to officially finish our 8 years long Chiron in Aries journey that we have started since 2018 in the month of April. So long 8-ish year. If my memory serves me right, Aries is the sign that Chiron spent the most time in because of unique pattern of Chiron. It spends different time in each sign, and I believe Aries is the longest or the second longest. So I have to get back to you with the correct information, but that is what happened. So ever since 2018 April, we have been experiencing our own individual and collective Chiron and Aries journey. It can be very personal for some of us. Maybe the past 8 years have been a total self-transformation for you. Like you are a total different person compared to 8 years ago. Perhaps some of the aspects totally change. Maybe your view on life, on certain area of your life, total take a shift. Maybe you learn to take your power back. Maybe you learn to stand up for yourself and make some very big shift and changes in your life, you know. It can be many things. For example, I have a client that took her power back, you know, no longer stay stuck in a emotionally abusive relationship, and finally have the courage to take her power back and start healing and turn into a total different person. And she is like just beaming, glowing, blossoming in her new way right now. So that was one of the story. And for you, maybe this is you rediscovering yourself, or you discovering yourself, you changing path, right? Because Aries is very much the energy of the self. So it's been a self-healing journey for many of us. I can definitely speak to that because since 2018, so much has changed along with Uranus in Taurus and my own natal chart. They kind of go by hand in hand. For me personally, in my own human story, it really kind of shift, and my life definitely took a very different path since 2018. I have embarked on my own spiritual journey. My business definitely shift and change, and my point of view, I'm just a very, very, very different person compared to before 2018. So feel free to share your journey with me in the comment section. How has Chiron and Aries been for you since April 2018, right? And this coming fall, winter, at least in Northern Hemisphere, it can be spring and summer in the Southern Hemisphere. This is our last time to reflect on our Chiron and Aries journey. Reflect on the amazing 8 years journey that you have been on. Mostly it's about you. So if you are, no matter where you are on your journey, remember to celebrate yourself as you reflect in the next few months. And hopefully you will uncover some more wisdom nuggets along the way to help you to continue to move forward as you continue as well. Let's talk about Chiron and Taurus for a little bit as well. Even though Chiron only entered Taurus a couple months ago, since June 19, you can also think back what has change and shift since June 19 for you, especially in that Taurus house. What's the theme, topic, area of life is Taurus house for you? You know, anything change or shift come up for you? Perhaps maybe some of the wounds surrounding that house came up for you. Past wounds or trauma might resurface in general during Chiron retrograde for us to maybe take a deeper look to heal another layer, or maybe we haven't started and it's an invitation for us to start, right? So be gentle with yourself if that is the case, you know. On a collective level, ever since Chiron entered Taurus the past couple of months, I personally feel like the already ongoing global crisis just kind of escalated, especially when it's related to our environment, our Mother Earth, this beautiful, magical, floating blue and green marble that every single one of us resided on, okay? Temperature around the world skyrocket, okay? Everywhere is recording the hottest summer yet, the driest summer yet. There is extreme weathers in many different places, natural disaster, storm, earthquakes, and wildfire. That's the most important thing I want to talk about, wildfires. There has been devastating and just scary wildfires. It has been happening in Europe and Canada that really endanger many people. And the root cause of all this fire is really mainly because that cultural burning is no longer allowed. They are all banned it, okay? But these kind of cultural burning that are done by the indigenous people, they have been doing it for thousands of years. They are the one who have the most intimate connection with the land, with the earth, and all these burning ritual or whatever you want to call it, they are passed down by ancestors, their ancestor, our ancestors, for so many thousand years ago. And they work because that is the way to burn the crops or plant that no longer is healthy or no longer is growing. They burn them strategically so that they turn into nourishment for the soil to regenerate and continue to grow new crops. And that is also their way to preserve the land, to renew the land, to keep this magical mycelium ecosystem continue to stay alive and thrive on this earth. But ever since colonization in most parts of the world is banned, and I feel like ever since Chiron entered Taurus, more and more of these topics is coming up. Especially, it just, aligned with summer season and how wildfire started. The past couple of months, it escalated, and more of us are noticing why and noticing the importance to perhaps advocate for indigenous people, their land back and their own indigenous way of living and their stewardship, because it works. And if we don't advocate for that, we're just all gonna turn into ashes very soon. So during this Chiron retrograde, maybe perhaps this is something that we can all ponder on and think about as well. So this is what is going to happen in the next few months. Chiron will retrograde for the rest of the year, and this is my invitation to you during this period of time. Next day, August 4th, we have a void of course moon for 7 hours, 44 minutes from 11:51 a.m. to 7:35 p.m. Pacific time. All times are in Pacific time, so just the time according to where you are in the world. If this is the first time that you're watching my video, void of course moon is when the moon is just floating in the cosmic by herself, not creating any kind of aspect with any planets. And if you want to do any kind of cosmic magic, astrological magic, if you want to do electional astrology, which means choosing a time or day to perhaps debut your idea, to launch your business, to ask for a raise, to declare your love, or whatever it is that you want the moon to aspect something that you want, right? If it's not making any aspect, it's not going to go anywhere unless you want something that is going to just slide under the radar, that go unnoticed, right? So a very perfect example will be the government passing a bill that they don't want people to know or oppose, right? So that's the only thing you want to do during that time. So during void of course moon, the best thing to do is slow down if possible. I know it's not always available, but it's do the moon thing to nourish yourself, nourish your body, take care of your emotions, to slow down, to not do too much. This is the way of the universe telling us that we're not meant to be on the go all the time, because nothing's going to happen during void of course moon, so you might as well rest, right? So for some, if it's possible, Tuesday might be a great day to take a long lunch, take a nap after lunch, have a very slow afternoon. August 6th is a very busy day. First, we have Venus entering Libra at 12:12 p.m. Pacific time, or August 7th, 3:12 a.m. Hong Kong time. Venus will stay in Libra on and off for quite a long time until December. So normally, some of you already know, Venus stay in a sign for a month-ish or so, or less than a month. Usually less than a month. So when Venus is staying on and off a sign, that's mean, you guessed it, we have a Venus retrograde coming up in the fall, and it's gonna be quite a crunchy one. Okay, so I would say by Wednesday, when Venus enters Libra, that energy is already in the backdrop, because Venus is going to retrograde in 2 signs, from Scorpio back to Libra, and it's going to station direct in Libra this fall. So that's why you can start to make mental notes and see what is coming up for you, you know, this week onwards in your Libra house, in all the Venusian's topic, in your relationship, you know, maybe perhaps for some, this is about your relationship with money, right? Finance, or this is about what you want to advocate for, because Venus is about fairness and justice. This is also about your values, you know, what you stand up for, what you support, or what you don't, and things like that. So start paying a little more attention to your Libra sector, and also perhaps Scorpio sector of your house, because that is where Venus will retrograde later. But Venus is back to one of her home sign, right? Venus rule Taurus and Libra. So Libra is a sign that Venus is in domicile. So meaning that Venus is strong in the sign of Libra, and it's a great transit during Venus in Libra to use it for electional astrology. If you want to pick a time to do any aesthetic works, you know, plastic surgery, you know, to enhance your look, to beautify anything, this is the time to do so during Venus in Libra, because Venus is strong. It's at a very good, not good, but in a nice transit, in a sign that she can really excel, right? She can really shine her energy. So some of us might want to beautify our home, our pantry, or whatnot, because that is what Venus in Libra is about. It's about all the aesthetic. It's about the look, right? But of course, in my humble opinion, I want us to try not to have too much waste. So if you are beautifying your home, make sure that you are doing it in a less wasteful way, if possible, right? But this is about beautifying perhaps your skincare routine, your makeup products, or whatever it is that you're using to enhance yourself, right? And what else is Venus in Libra about? So Libra is the cardinal air sign. So it talks about, and Libra is the sign of scale, right? That is talking about justice, fairness, you know, the law. So during Venus in Libra, you might also find these topics on the headline a little bit more. You might find yourself engaging in these kind of fun conversation. You might also be looking at your relationship, which Venus is about, right? Who is aligning, who is not aligning? Do we share the same values? Do we support the same thing? Do we have a similar political views, or are we totally on a different side? Can we have healthy debates to help each other to understand each other more, or can we teach each other things, right? Or of course, the shadow side is, you know, debate that can lead to dispute, right? It can be not seeing eye to eye, so it can go one way, which is, you know, having arguments and conflict, and eventually maybe severing relationship, but maybe it's for your higher good because it's no longer aligning. But on the other hand, it can also be you not wanting to rock the boat so that you just kind of follow along and just, you know, don't want to go differently, right? Don't want to say something that might rock the boat and decide to just leave it or to just bite your tongue, right? And another sign is people pleasing because of that, right? And selling yourself short, not seeing your worth. This can also lead to maybe you trying to people please everybody on both sides and end up backfiring and having everyone hating you. So these are the shadow side of Venus in Libra that we need to pay attention to as well. One other thing is, even though Venus is strong in Libra, is at its home, one of the sign, the beginning transit, the beginning of this Venus in Libra transit is not going to feel that nice, because once Venus enters Libra, Venus will inch closer and closer to the exact opposition with Neptune and Saturn in Aries. So that energy is kicking in, you know, especially with Neptune first, because Neptune is still in very early degrees in the sign of Aries. So that opposition is happening first, and then it will be the opposition with Saturn. So in the beginning of this Venus in Libra transit, it's not gonna feel so lovely for many of us because of those opposition. And we'll talk about it next week because it's happening next week, one of them. And on the same day, we also have the Sun in Leo, trine Saturn in Aries, retrograding at 14 degrees 38 minutes. So today can be a day where your hard work is being paid off for some of us, right? You might feel that, oh my God, this thing that I've been committed to, it finally pays off. And this is because the Sun trine Saturn today, showing you, you know, you might receive recognition, whatever you have been committing to. Maybe you have been doing this really good, this thing, and your boss finally sees you and give you a praise or raise, or, you know, give you the recognition that you deserve. Maybe this is you continue to pour into that relationship and it finally blossomed today, right? Maybe this is your business, your creative pursuit, whatever it is. Maybe this is a skill that you're learning. Maybe this is the garden that you are tending to, right? It can be many things, but something that you have been committed to do, right? And since Sun is in Leo and Saturn in Aries, retrograding, this can also be a day where you are reflecting on the commitments that you have been making and seeing if they show up, you know, or not, if you are showing up authentically in them or not. You might be also re-evaluating if you want to continue to commit to them or not. Maybe it's time to restructure. Maybe it's time to change, break it all down and start from scratch again, right? And one more thing on August 6th is a good news, because Mercury is finally leaving its post-shadow phase of Mercury retrograde. So the phase 3, final phase of Mercury retrograde journey is the post-shadow. And today, August 6th, Mercury officially leaves that last degree of Mercury retrograde at 26 degrees 15 minutes in the sign of Cancer. So we are officially out of Mercury retrograde, but Mercury will stay in Cancer for a few more days until the 9th. And finally on the 9th, Mercury will enter Leo, a new sign, at 9:28 a.m. Pacific time, or later time zone August 10, 12:28 p.m. a.m. Hong Kong time. So this is a vibe shift. Mercury in Cancer is quite different compared to Mercury in Leo. Mercury in Leo is testing 1, 2, 3. Here's the mic and here's the stage. It's time to let everyone hear what you have to say. So Mercury in Leo is speaking courageously from the heart, fearlessly expressing yourself, even though you might receive backlash, even though not everyone will like what you have to say, but you are fearless and you're showing up, you're saying what you want to say, speaking from the heart, okay? Not just like making shit up, but you are speaking from your heart. Maybe for speaking for something you truly value, right? Speaking about a cause that you want to stand up for, you want to fight for, right? This is about you speaking your ideas, your creativity, your imagination into existence, because Leo is about creativity, it's about passion, right? I'm passionate about astrology. That's why I am here doing video every week, speaking fearlessly from my heart to you, sharing something that I'm so passionate about, right? No one is paying me to do that, but I'm just showing up every week because this is what I love and want to do. So what is it that you're passionate about? Talk about it, right? Mercury in Leo is a great cheerleader too. It gives the best, like, pick me up line. Like, if you're having a bad day, someone with Mercury in Leo will just brighten your day, give you the best affirmation, just like gas you up, cheer you up. You know, Mercury in Leo is that cheerleader that everyone wants, right? So during this transit, are you courageously speaking from your heart, even though you are scared, even though it might ruffle some feathers, even though not everyone will agree with what you have to say, but as long as you're speaking from the heart, why not? Or are you that cowardly lion, like that Wizard of Oz, that shies away, that don't want to take a stand, that don't want to talk about it, right? Maybe this is about taking a stand on politics. Maybe this is about standing up for a cause, right? Maybe this transit will invite you and give you that confident boost that you need to speak up, especially for those who are on the more like shy side, that want to stay quiet. This Mercury in Leo might give you that push to speak up. Of course, like I always say, every sign, every transit, every planet, they have their light and shadow attribute. So on the shadow side, Mercury in Leo can tend to be a little bit opinionated, can be a bit self-centered and stubborn, can tend to feel very attached to their opinion and just, or belief or whatever it is, and don't want to let go, don't want to budge, don't want to listen, like I'm right, you know, can be a little bit dogmatic sometimes, right? But use this transit to also ask yourself, how can you show up more authentically and courageously speak from your heart, right? Use this transit to connect with your inner child. Leo talks about your inner child. Talk to your inner child, connect with your inner child. What is it that they desire, right? Let your inner child speak from the heart and let yourself go after your inner child's desire during this transit as well, right? So this is what is happening this week. Quite a bit, you know, not like a super packed week, but there's like a couple things here and there to take note of. So I hope you find this video helpful in some way, shape, or form. And always drop me a comment. I always want to know how you find it, you know, if it helps. If you have a question, feel free to ask to, you know, connect with me over on Instagram as well. I sometimes post, I always post my workshop or anything that I do there first. So make sure you follow me over there as well. But yeah, in the meantime, take care. Next week is going to be eclipse season. So take care of your body, nourish yourself, stay hydrated. Expect the unexpected. It's eclipse season. What else can I tell you? We can't really prepare for it, but we're definitely gonna talk about it. So take care and I'll see you next week.